What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Back again.
We're switching
We
it
told
up.
you. We told you there was going to be a myriad of new sets, and
yeah, we're testing out all
we
of our
delivered
new sets in our thing for everybody watching. For everyone listening, we're in a different set.
Yeah.
And hello.
Hey.
So yeah, we're getting more stuff set up. We're going to be doing some work
Soon
on
we
the
will have
new
our
studio.
permanent
I know
studio.
It'll be nice, but
Space.
it's kind of also a little fun going guerrilla style.
Yeah,
Kinda
I mean, we're still going
back
to
it.
use these different sets again. Like we mentioned last week, we've got a more business and real estate focused podcast coming to you soon. For those who care to listen, we promise we're going to make it enjoyable to listen to. It'll still be entertaining.
Still going to be us. I know you got some things in the works. I got some things in the works.
Yeah.
Our third wheel, so to speak, has some things in the works. It's all good, like this kind of interconnected.
Lots of fun.
I told somebody the other day, it's like just our marketing and our video stuff, we're able to cross-pollinate our marketing. And they kind of gave me a weird little look, but that cracked me up as well.
All right.
So it's all good. So, and last week I was in that kind of loungy chair and I was a little bit more scrunched up. I didn't really notice it until I went back and looked at it. And
you're a little slouchy.
That's it. I had like the turtle.
That's all right. I was informed, and it's just a thing that I do. I often will, especially sitting in an armchair, I'll kind of lean my head on my hand while we're having a conversation.
Right.
Which is all well and good until there's a camera pointing at my right side.
Well, You've been called out this last week as well, but I've said it to you, but it was our new business partner kind of called you out on it. That you do something that I need to take a cue from, that when you're on your phone, like you don't hold it down like normal people do. You've actually made
much. I try really hard.
Effort to hold it up, but when you do it, it looks like
I'm videoing our conversations.
And so you get a little. Everybody doing it. I've gotten used to it by now. I used to have people that would, like, when they turned their phone off, it would make the click, like they took a picture. I'm like, why are you taking a picture?
Picturing me? Why are you picturing me?
Yeah, but yeah, we're doing things. Nice.
We are.
We have some beverages that were in the office.
But yeah, I'm trying to be conscious that I'm not covering my face. I'm not in a witness protection.
Don't cover that
video.
Ice Princess face.
So, but yeah, it's been a fun week.
Yeah, really
played some shows over the weekend. Thanks to everyone who came out to those, including Mr. Tucker.
I know. We joked around that I was out at night.
Yeah. You showed up and I was like, hey, so don't be alarmed, but this is what nighttime looks like.
Well, and I was, and I was kind of talking about it, and I was like, it's been so long. When the last time was really like the Kevin Smith show.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the same kind of going out to
it was still venue. Over a month ago.
Yeah. That's kind of the last time I had been out after the sun went down.
Mm-hmm.
Not of, an errand or something like that. But
like
this was first time going out in that setting. But it was... I had a blast, man.
I'm a terrible influence on you.
I was talking to somebody else, one of the other musicians that plays, and I was like, I have to be careful with my sense of humor, because I was like, hey, I thought you guys were going to really be bad. Like, really be bad.
Like, I was worried you guys were going to suck, and I was going to have to fake it.
Right. I was like, oh my gosh, like, they're going to be so horrible. And, like, they weren't. And he, like, kind of looked at me, and I was like, that's my sense of humor, man. Like, I'm paying you a compliment that...
Yeah.
In all honesty, I knew they were going to be good. I knew you were going to be good, but But the funny part is because
I like to have some fun when I'm on stage, and like when I make it through a song, and I'm like, hey, I didn't screw that up at all. It's fun.
Well,
I poke fun at myself.
I was kind of laughing because you played Friday night, I went on Saturday night, and every time I was like, man, you were really good. You should have been here last night. You should have been here last night. Like, everything that I said was like, it was better last night. And I'm like, well, then I guess that's what I
cool
deserve
story,
then.
bro.
I was like, it was so much better when I wasn't here.
Yeah, like, everything was better until you showed up.
You sound like my family.
It's just, I do play music, but I don't do it as much as I used to. And so a 2-night stretch is a little... like going out and giving it 120%,
right,
and having literally nothing to give the next day.
Yeah,
and
not 2 nights in a row.
And when you do day one the same way you always do, day two becomes more of a challenge.
Well, and it was also kind of tell the second story of our first conversation on Saturday was me. I tried to call you because I had some.
Yeah, and I had kind of blown my voice out a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't know. So I tried to call, but you didn't answer it.
I didn't.
And then you texted me back saying, "Hey, I'm not talking today."
Well, I said I told you I needed to rest my voice.
Right, which made, as soon as you sent that, I was like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, I was doing some real estating and wanted another set of eyes.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, like, just double check me on something. But it was, I texted you.
It was more than you wanted to text.
Right. It hits a certain point when you're texting somebody and it's like, this would be so much, like, it's just, it's a phone call at that point.
Yeah.
Because, and I also, guilty enough, I sometimes don't come across well in text. My sense of humor or something doesn't come across, I think you know me well enough that I don't so much worry about that, but it's a whole lot for, to come across in text. So I was just sent you the text. I'm like, I'm going to call, just answer. You don't have to talk.
Right.
But it was one of the weirdest things that I've ever, done phone wise, because it was just, you picked up and I'm like, okay, at a certain point I was like,
press one if you're actually here.
Yeah. I was like, if you can, you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just you hitting the keypad. Like, if I'm making sense, hit the keypad. Okay. There it was. And so then it was just, okay, bye. And just hanging up, and then we were able to continue a text conversation about it. But I think you would agree with the situation that it was, and having to explain
everything.
Yeah. It was, where I was coming from on the real estate
on multiple
side of
levels.
Things.
Yeah. Hey, stand by. Actually, you're too loud, so I'm gonna.
Really? Because I can't
take
hear
a small break.
I can't hear myself.
And I know why. It's because I've been using your mic channel as an overhead mic, so I've got the gain jacked up. So stand by.
Okay.
Enjoy this commercial. And we're back. Sorry about that. We had a minor technical difficulty.
Well, I was joking around. Normally, some feedback that I get is...
Yeah, you sit 14 miles away from your microphone.
Well,
now that you're actually speaking into it.
I'm so relaxed.
Now you're actually speaking into it. You're blowing out my eardrums. And I'm like, hey, we got to fix this so it doesn't sound terrible.
Yeah, normally feedback is, Beard talks so loud.
Loud noises.
Yeah, it's like so loud and I'm very quiet.
I don't talk that loud. I just actually speak into the microphone.
I know. I guess I think that I do, but maybe I don't. I don't know.
No, you're always like chasing it. It's always like,
well, last
bring it to your face.
Not to keep on pointing stuff out from last week, but last week I was like crouched and chasing it even more. But I don't know. But here we are. Like the highlight reel. It's like 40-second highlight reel. We had the fight.
The fight?
Saturday night?
40 whole seconds worth of that.
It's situations like that, though, that makes me happy that I don't pay for the fights.
Listen, I got home from the show on Saturday evening, and I watched the entire fight on YouTube.
Right.
In the form of a highlight reel, because it was that short of a fight. That it was... Yeah. There was one highlight, and it was the fight itself.
Right, and it was, really... Kudos to
Conor McGregor, yeah.
The
king has returned, as they say.
Yeah, I used to be really, really into watching UFC, going to the fights and everything, and I kind of fell out of that. It's kind of like the MTV Movie Awards. I stopped knowing who people were.
Right.
I stopped watching because I don't know who anybody is.
I don't know who anybody is.
So, I kind of... The people that I do know, who they are and... know of them. I'm like, okay, so I'm still in tune a little bit, but there were some hardcore people on the interwebs.
Oh yeah, I mean it was gonna be. I like Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a little much.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
So it was, he talks a big game, and in a lot of ways he deserves to.
Right. He can back it up.
Homeboy hadn't fought in years.
Mm-hmm.
It'd been a while.
Yeah.
And, listen, it was a fight against a guy who hadn't fought in a while.
Right.
And a guy who's maybe too old to still be fighting.
The cowboy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so...
See, I don't know a whole lot about him. I know about Conor McGregor, but I saw...
He just seems like a nicer guy.
Yeah, like...
Cowboy does.
Well, I used to be a fan of... his name was Matt Hughes.
Okay. Taking it way back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's been a while.
Taking it back to the tough days.
He was the country boy. He used to come out to Hank Williams Jr., Country Boy Can't Survive. Like, he was... Yeah. And he was a beast. And he was, like, my favorite fighter at the time. And so it's
some might even say that was the heyday of the UFC.
And that's when I was, like, really heavily into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of watching the highlight reels kind of leading up to this fight, I was like, oh, he's kind of reminds me of that guy. But Conor McGregor just comes across really arrogant or has
super cocky. Yeah.
I have to give that boy some credit because I don't know what something humbled him.
He did. I think he behaved himself a whole lot better.
He was hugging the guy's grandma after the fight. Like,
no, I think
him credit.
Well, something he got in some trouble,
right?
Sometimes when you throw a dolly through a bus window,
right?
You got to make some. You got to realize that some course corrections need to be made in your life,
right?
So when you reach that level,
that's exactly what he needed, though.
And I think he did. I mean, he was still, listen, you just won a big fight. So, he was super excited afterward. And, he was hooting and hollering like he usually does. But through the process, he's been a lot more reserved and respectful.
Yeah, he went over and gave the guy, a hug and gave him his credit. And the grandma came in and he gave him the but it was, I was just very impressed.
Yeah, he definitely acted more gentlemanly this time around. And I think I was in the same camp as a lot of folks who were watching or did watch the fight or even gave a crap about the fight this week.
Right.
I hoped Cowboy would win, but thought McGregor was going to win.
And that's, again, I didn't know a whole lot about the Cowboy yet, but he seemed like just a really nice...
Seemed like a nicer dude.
Little, country and cowboy, and...
I think another humbling factor for Mr. McGregor was, he talked a big old game before he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yeah.
He went into a sport that he doesn't participate in.
But he got paid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, listen,
I'll
let Mayweather punch...
Paid.
Yeah, I was like, I'll let Mayweather,
not that many times. Well, maybe for that amount of money, but, and Mayweather in that fight just put on a clinic in patience and technique. Mm-hmm. That fight went exactly the way I thought it was going to go.
Right.
Where he was just gonna come out and let McGregor play his game.
Right. And it went exactly.
Gas out.
Yeah.
And then
destroy him.
Ding ding. Classes in session. Here we go.
This is how everybody paid for this, so I'm going to let it kind of go for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, McGregor's a great fighter, but he's not a boxer.
Well, and that's one of those things like the paying for the pay-per-view. This last fight was 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's even pushing it because I was even like, by the time the ref called it.
Yeah, it was a 40-second fight.
It was probably like 30.
That a lot of people paid $70 to watch on top of. So you have to, this last fight, you had to be an ESPN Plus streaming subscriber.
Oh, jeez.
Which is, if you're in the camp that you are bundled with Hulu and Disney Plus, you're talking about a $15 a month subscription, which isn't terrible.
Right.
But then on top of that, and the fights played all the way up through the main event.
Right.
On ESPN Plus.
Okay.
But if you wanted the main event, it was an extra $70.
Wow.
So some people
paid
after the undercards were finished, hit the go ahead button.
Yeah, paid the $70.
You could have. A lot of people prepaid for it too, but you had the option. If you hadn't prepaid, it was like, all right, you want this?
Right.
Charge it.
Yeah, this is how to do it.
And a lot of people did that.
For 40
and then
seconds.
40 seconds later,
yeah,
they were short $70.
So, and we need to sit there and talk about...
Had they waited an extra 2 minutes, they could have just switched over to YouTube.
Right, and watched it for free. One of the things he did, which was... I've never seen it done before, is he shoulder punched him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
And was just...
It's definitely a little unorthodox.
But...
Got the job done.
Yeah, just kept on...
he had broke... Yeah, I mean, in the first 15 seconds of the fight, he had broken Cowboy's nose.
Yeah.
He was bleeding.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that was a shoulder to the face.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he got it done, and again, I'm happy. It was one of those ones where I wanted the Cowboy to win because I want to see... Every once in a while, somebody needs to have, something humble them.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, whatever has already humbled him and calmed him down a little bit already happened. So
he actually focused on the training. He focused on getting it done, and he did it, and I like McGregor.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's a super dynamic personality. He's an amazing fighter.
We talk about marketing all the time. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh, 100%.
He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's doing it.
He is his brand.
Yeah.
And bless him for it because it's working out for him.
Yep.
I think he made $4 million.
Yeah.
Let's find out. I'm doing it. How much did McGregor win?
I don't know, but more than Dr. Dolittle made.
Oh, man.
So we're getting to that point.
Oh, man.
You brought Dr. Dolittle some money, so
I did.
I'll let you address that one.
I did. Yeah. I chipped in about $50-something to the Dr. Dolittle GoFundMe this weekend. Listen, I didn't not like it.
I know we were talking about
it. I thought it was fun. It was a little. The story was a little weird, but it's Dr. Dolittle.
Right.
I mean, I will say this right now. Would I rather watch Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Dolittle again or ever watch Eddie Murphy's Dr. Dolittle movies?
Right.
100 times I will watch Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
It was better.
Yeah. Well,
it just was.
Honestly, I kind of forgot about that. That was like a modern version of Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, I mean, it was a retelling, and I like Eddie Murphy. But you know what?
The Robert Downey Jr. one, it goes back, right? To
yeah, this is more of a
setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time period.
So yeah, McGregor earned at least $3 million.
Yeah. For 40 seconds worth of work.
Well,
it's a lot of training and stuff like that.
That's like saying comparing what we make on a deal.
Right.
For
closing.
He put in the training and the effort and months worth of work.
100%.
But still, it's a lot of money.
Right.
Don't get it. I'm not saying that it wasn't a metric crap ton of cash.
But it's got to be nice when you walk away with no injuries at all. Like you're like, I'm still good.
Yeah, 4.1 million plus. He could earn up to 30 because he gets a piece of the pay-per-view. So
wow.
Now, how do you feel about spending that $70, people?
Yeah.
Right. Boy, couldn't even. I mean, I hear people saying, be like, "Oh, they couldn't have even just put on a show."
That's not the point.
No, you are in combat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't screw around.
They don't want to go all 3
putting
rounds.
on some pageantry.
Yeah.
No, you get in there, you get the job done, or you get your head caved in. Yeah. I mean, it's one or the other,
and you go home.
Because if you don't cave in his head, he's going to cave in yours. That's the point. It's a fight, people.
Yep.
People would say the same thing about Tyson back in his prime too. Like, it's just he finishes the fight too quick.
Yeah, that's
because he's a bad man.
It's a fight.
It's a fight.
I saw this little cosplay thing over the weekend.
Okay.
It was a little kid dressed as Little Mac from Punch Out, and he was doing the hands up thing,
nice
punch out, and it was visiting Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was like behind him.
Oh, sweet.
I was like, that is awesome. But it was like a little kid dressed as Little Mac.
Speaking of a guy who's calmed down quite a bit. No, Mike Tyson.
Oh, yes.
I mean, in his later years, he has.
Listen, I think the pigeons calmed him down. Like, he became a really big fan of hanging out with pigeons.
He's so mellow.
Yeah.
That he owns a farm.
Okay.
That grows things known to mellow people out.
Fantastic. I didn't know that.
That's what he does now.
See, but that's just from a marketing standpoint that I think of. That's got to be like
Disneyland for potheads.
Yeah, like there's got to be a good name for that type of, his business. Like, and if somebody
I doubt that is, because when it comes to this type of substance,
right?
You usually have, they're always trying to give it cute names for different strains of it.
No, there's got to be like
But if one of these wasn't Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right. I mean, I'm sure there's naming right issues, but
if not, they need to hire us to be like, okay, in a matter of 10 minutes, we can give them some names.
Yeah, Tyson Ranch.
Tyson Ranch, look at him go.
Tyson Ranch,
look at him go. Ear biting. Come on, there's got to be some good names for.
I'm pulling up.
They're not going to be as good.
They're not.
I already know that now.
I can tell that they're not going to be.
Holyfield's ear. Come on.
They have a line of edibles. So.
Oh, come on. If they're not in the shape of ears, like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so they've got several different. They don't have the names of any of the strains on here though. Oh, here we go. See, I mean, this is Bush League, Mr. Tyson. Pineapple upside down cake, toad, purple Urkel, Do-si-dos, rose, sticky papaya, Tyson cookies. Not one knockout, not one left hook, not
TKO.
Yeah, like give me a TKO, like
and Holyfield's
anything.
Ear edibles. Oh my god.
Yeah. Especially if it's in the shape, like...
Of an ear.
Of an ear. Like, make your edibles in the shape of an ear. Poke fun at yourself, Mr. Tyson. Come on.
Exactly.
Speaking of things that did get knocked out, though, going back to Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, I was like, what was the ending?
So we've got a budget on Dolittle of $175 million.
Ooh. And it made...
First weekend,
which is usually the best.
Your biggest one, 21.9.
Which,
so
just
it's already a contender for bomb of the year.
Right.
17 days into 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do some comparisons though.
Because what was the biggest bomb from last year? Was it like Gemini Man?
Gemini was up there.
Yeah.
So
I remember we conversed about it, but
so let's talk about Bad Boys
for life.
For life,
which I want to go see.
As do I. But let's talk about that because we're talking about a budget on Bad Boys for Life, starring Martin Lawrence and Will Smith,
who probably took a lot of the budget.
The man that I have dubbed the Chuck Norris of the millennial generation.
100% agree.
It only had a budget of $90 million, and it brought in 62.1, and in almost 1,000 fewer theaters than Dolittle. Wow. Dolittle opened up in 4,155 theaters. Bad Boy opened. It was not quite 1,000. Sorry, 3,775 theaters. So still a 400 theater swing, and just almost tripled. Wow. The take.
Yeah.
Now, there's an argument to be made that this was a sequel a long time in the making.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys was and they're kind of, the franchise is kind of known for this. Bad Boys came out and people were like, oh, we want Bad Boys 2. Right. And it took a long time to get Bad Boys 2, and then it took another long time to get Bad Boys 3.
For Bad Boys 3.
Yeah.
And there's whispers in the wind for... Oh, we got timed out. Look at that.
Wake up.
But they're already talking about a possible fourth or something. I haven't seen it, and it's, they're kind of... But one of the things I thought was cool that I read the other day, that Martin Lawrence actually retired. Like, he was done.
Yeah.
And he came back
for this one.
And I mean, saying that they still
the tagline is Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett are back together for one last ride. I kind of hope they...
Listen, I hope that they go out on...
I hope that they let it die.
Yeah. I don't want some Danny Glover, we're getting too old for this. I don't need that. So I kind of hope that it's the last one. But I'm wondering if what they mean is kind of... I know there's some newer officers just from the trailer. I know that you've been...
Yeah.
And again, another compliment to you is that you've been trying to refrain from watching trailers. I haven't been able to fully embrace that yet.
I don't like everything given. They get too much into the meat of the movie, and that bothers me.
I'll watch the teasers, but I've been trying to refrain from.
Usually, you don't
trailer
get
one, trailer two. I don't do that. They just released the Black Widow.
The last set of trailers that I watched was for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
that was the last set of trailers that I watched.
Okay. Which I had an in-depth conversation with somebody about that over the weekend.
What I do like is the ones...
Go watch it.
Yeah, when the ones that are actually at the theater aren't as bad as the ones, you see on YouTube.
Right.
Where, I mean, by the time the movies come out, say it's a 90-minute movie, you got 35 minutes worth of footage out of that film on YouTube.
Right. That you've been able to
I don't
watch.
care as much anymore.
Right.
About seeing the movie. And so that's why I'm refraining from seeing as many as possible. Again, I still go to the movies. So, I'm not sitting there and la, la, la,
well, we've had the conversation that my brother and I's favorite thing as kids was when you went to the movies and all the trailers, because the internet wasn't a thing. I'm that old.
Yeah.
But
that's how you knew a movie was coming out.
Right. And so it was almost just as good. That was part of it when you get...
Yeah.
Now you go and you watch it and you're like, I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
So it takes...
Except for I...
away. Right. That's what I'm saying.
I still look and see what's coming out. So the difference between childhood and now is oh, cool. This is the release schedule for Phase 4 of the MCU.
Right. You know that it's happening, but you don't see...
And I'll see teasers and things like that at the theaters. Right. But even, what's the new Pixar movie that's coming out this year?
It's Soul or something, which is... I'm didn't we do this when it was Inside Out? I always want to call it In and Out. Inside Out.
No, but there was one where they had a teaser that had been playing at a few children's movies. Onward.
Yeah. I don't think it's Pixar. I think it's... Is it Pixar?
It's 100% Pixar.
100%.
Soul is also coming out this year, but the difference was the teaser that had been playing before, and this played during Dolittle.
Okay.
This new trailer, I was like, it was still a little more in depth, but it was vague enough.
Mm-hmm. That you knew what it was about, but not what was happening.
I don't want the whole plot. I don't, especially in a comedy movie, nothing is worse than already knowing
the biggest punch,
all the jokes by the time the show actually hits theaters.
Right.
And then it's an old joke.
Right.
There's a reason most people don't rewatch stand-up comedy specials 4 times.
Right.
Because you've already heard those jokes.
Right.
So you don't... It doesn't matter. It doesn't have the impact. And so that's why I don't watch the trailers.
Yeah. Well, it's because they just came out with the Morbius trailer. Mm-hmm. You didn't... At least at that point...
I saw some production stills from the trailer, of Jared Leto as Morbius.
Right. And I don't know a whole lot about that character, so I'm a little bit okay.
He's a deeper cut.
Yeah.
For most comic book fans.
Well, and they're
I know a little bit.
They're tying it to the bigger MCU.
Yeah.
So it's
which is interesting because he is a Spider-Man Rogue Gallery character.
Right.
And so those properties still belong to Sony.
Well,
but this one's going to cross over from what I understand.
I'm about to do like a whole spoiler thing for you, so congratulations. But it's not. At the end of the trailer is Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And
I had seen a still
that's why
from
I was
that.
guessing you had already seen it.
Yeah.
But Michael Keaton reprising his role as the Vulture.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I've heard that they are going to be merging that, at least in this film, because again, Morbius is, from a property standpoint, should belong to Sony.
Right.
Because Sony still owns Spider-Man and his entire rogues gallery.
And this is a Sony movie.
Yeah.
And everything, but they're doing the tie, and I think that's a subtle way of doing it. I think
they have to.
But
because let me tell you what, Disney Spider-Man is better.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they've already kind of, I don't know if they let it leak, but there's strong rumors that Tom Holland
I had heard that there's going to be some sort of cameo
in the next Venom movie.
Yeah.
Which I hope they do it right.
Me too.
Because, well, as much of a fan I am of Venom, there's a part of me that I'm like, they could have tweaked some things to make it Venom. Like, they could have made it a little bit better if they would have followed more of the classic storyline. I'm not mad at it, but
it was weird,
right,
to see Venom not opposite Spider-Man,
right, and straight out
as his initial launch into the cinematic world.
Spider-Man, a guy that hated Peter Parker, and was a villain first before he became the good guy. So straight out the gate being
they just really leaned into the anti-hero thing real fast, and never a villain at all.
And I still think, listen, if Marvel would have called me, of just going, listen, little subtle thing at the thing of Infinity War or at the end of Endgame, they should have waited on the Venom movie.
Yeah.
But him coming through the little portal at the end of Endgame and having, it's a little throwaway scene of just the black symbiote on his suit. Guess what the next movie would have been about?
Boom.
That storyline. Then go into Venom.
Well,
that's how I think that they should have done it, but they didn't ask me.
Well, that and... copyright laws ruin fandoms all the time.
Right.
So there's that.
But it's like, listen, it would have just been a little throwaway scene of just like the little black symbiote. They wouldn't have even had to say a word about it. And they could have created Sony could have gone and done their thing and could have been awesome.
It could have been. Speaking of things that nobody called me about.
Okay.
And listen, I'm going to stick up for this guy. Even though I've yet to see the movie, just haven't had time.
Okay.
Adam Sandler.
Ooh.
From everything that I've heard, and again, this is secondhand,
right?
So I'll take that for what it is. The Academy done messed up.
Yeah.
They shut out my boy Adam Sandler.
And he was not happy, Gilmore, about it.
He was not. Sorry, well, I mean, he had said, as the movie was coming out, like, if they completely ignore my performance in this movie, because he put in a lot of work, and
and it was he
un-Adam Sandlered himself for this movie.
Right.
I love Adam Sandler, but let's face it,
he makes
his last few movies have been this whole Netflix run that he went on.
Not great.
Was not great.
I'm sure he had a really good payday.
I'm sure it was lucrative for him,
but all the movies were
I would have made all of those movies if they paid me what they paid him.
Right.
No two ways about it.
Right.
But he went way off brand, and from all accounts that I've heard, delivered the performance of a lifetime in this movie.
I've heard nothing but amazing
and they completely
reviews.
Ignore the dude.
And it's uncut gems, correct?
Yeah. And he's like, if they ignore me, I'm going to make an intentionally bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it on purpose.
Well, I think you did the...
And I made a joke the day that the nominations were released. And I was like, you guys want Grown Ups 3?
Yeah.
Because this is how you get Grown Ups 3.
And I wouldn't be surprised when it happens.
Straight to Netflix.
Yep. It's going to happen. Well, and I think that what was it? The murder mystery one that he did.
Knives Out. No.
Jennifer Aniston on Netflix. It's still the highest rated movie or something, I think.
Yeah, what was that? What was that movie?
It got some credit. It was, I almost said The Do-Over, and that was a different Adam Sandler
Netflix movie.
It was, I watched it, and it wasn't
that bad.
It wasn't horrible, but it was, yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know, but we do need to go see the Knives Out. We had somebody tell us that we needed to go see Knives Out.
Yeah, it's still on my... Man, he's doing another Hotel Transylvania movie, too.
Somebody needs to take that dog.
Bro. The murder mystery movie that you're referring to is literally titled Murder Mystery.
Oh, jeez. All right. It was in the name. Yeah, the Hotel Transylvania, they need to take that dog to the back. To the
put
barn.
It down. Just put it down.
It's got rabies.
Yeah, just let it die.
Attacking people. No one likes it anymore.
It's okay. It's okay, Adam.
They
didn't need to make the third one either.
Yeah. But this is how you get more of those movies.
Yeah, but so
you
want...
He should have just given the...
He's going to go...
The Academy...
I don't know how you sequel...
$1.25.
Yeah.
And...
So, yeah, I don't know how you make a sequel to, I don't know, The Water Boy, or...
He's going to do it, though.
Or The Hateful Eight. What would be the title to the...
It wasn't The Hateful Eight. It was the... Hateful Eight was the Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, that's right. Wow. Not The Hateful Eight. That's the one that's the Ridiculous Six.
Yeah, I have to admit, talking about Quentin Tarantino for a second, I have to admit something to you that I saw over the weekend. I read an article.
Uh-oh. You read something?
I know.
In a book?
In Word. Not in a book. But I didn't know that, I'd kind of gotten little hints that there was a universe. That all the movies were connected the way that they were. So there's
an interconnectivity to them.
I guess not all of them are, but
yeah.
I read a thing that there's two different universes.
Kind of I think a little less directly connected than say the Viewers universe,
right?
But more connected than the MCU.
Well, and I have to give credit to, because he's been connecting them since Reservoir Dogs. Before. I think.
World building in a cinematic universe with independent storylines is a super difficult thing to do.
And I give credit. You know how you're a big fan of Quentin Tarantino.
I am.
I'm not as much, but to do that, that is just awesome to me to build. It was fast food franchise that is in hit, and then Robert Rodriguez, I guess, has jumped on and used it in a couple of his. And anyways,
listen, he's a talented director. I like him.
He's getting some Oscar buzz, or certain aspects.
Well, we've got
Is Leonardo getting.
I should have had
Leonardo. He's getting some nominations. They just don't know if he's going to win.
I mean,
Joaquin
he hasn't
won the best actor.
He hasn't won anything. Oh, yeah, at the Screen Actors Guild, he did.
Yeah.
I think that Phoenix takes it for best actor.
Right.
But right now we've got Antonio Banderas, Leonardo DiCaprio, Adam Driver in Marriage Story, and then Joaquin Phoenix.
Of the year.
Yeah. And then Jonathan Pryce and The Two Popes are the nominees for best actor.
Nice. Yeah, I think Joaquin Phoenix will walk away with it. I was kind of happy because I saw his acceptance speech at the SAG Awards, and he's another guy that he went weird for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's getting up in front of a microphone in front of a group of people. Things are
this
about
could
to
go sideways. This could go real sideways real quick.
I was like, this is about to be really awkward because he's going to, and he was actually it was a really good speech.
It was pretty normal.
Humble, and was actually gave credit to Heath Ledger. He's like, I'm only standing here because of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was kind of if I can see far, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, exactly.
But also in the snub category.
Yeah.
So looking at supporting actors.
I know what you're about to say, and I'm just...
Al Pacino and Joe Pesci
yes.
are both nominated for supporting actors.
Rightfully so.
But if you notice, moments ago,
yes,
I did not mention Mr. Robert De Niro in the Best Actors category.
Yeah.
What the heck, man?
Yeah, so, he did not get the credit for Best Actor.
No.
Nomination. And listen, I was talking with you right before we started.
It's
filming.
like they got the rest of the whole cast in right. some other categories, but
listen,
nope.
As long as it's not a Mark Wahlberg situation where he won Best Supporting Actor for The Departed. I don't know if you remember that. He was in that movie for literally 2 minutes.
Like 5 seconds, yeah.
And he won Best Supporting Actor for that, which was ridiculous.
Honestly, the one that I'm the most like... I was... Robert De Niro getting snubbed, I was like, that's odd. Yeah. But the one that I was the most disappointed in, Adam Sandler was one of them.
Yeah.
But Christian Bale and everyone's least favorite human being, Matt Damon.
Listen,
getting no love for Ford versus Ferrari, which it had some some cinematography nominations and things like that,
which I'm really,
and rightly so, because that movie was freaking gorgeous.
And it's sad up there. I never got a chance to watch it, but I've watched some documentaries and stuff on the same subject that are out on Netflix. There's some actual documentaries and stuff that are really super good, and I'm like, I can only imagine how good that movie is.
But it's like it got nominated for cinematography, for editing, as Best Picture. Right. Oh, sorry, that's an inside joke.
Yeah,
but and also nominated for Best Picture. Yet there's no love for Christian Bale, who owned that character.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
and in a movie that I personally think that either Joker or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are going to take that Best Picture Oscar home.
Right.
But honestly, I think Ford versus Ferrari should.
But you never know. Like,
I thought it was going to be but then again, something like Jojo Rabbit could take it home too.
Exactly. Like, I would never put money down on it, because it's always like the weirdest movie that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay. Or, Warren Beatty says the wrong movie.
Yeah.
He's Steve Harvey's the situation.
Yeah, he's Steve Harvey that all over the place.
Announces the wrong winner.
But I mean, and the same thing, like The Irishman is nominated for Best Picture. Mm-hmm. The rest of the cast and or crew is nominated in some way, shape, or form.
Other than Robert De Niro.
But Robert De Niro made somebody mad.
Well, he's making a lot of people mad right now.
Well,
and listen, to each their own and stuff like that. So I was kind of telling you beforehand, it's not exactly a Tom Cruise situation, but it's a Tom Cruise. Like, I was like, I don't have to like him. Exactly. And I don't really have anything against him. I just think people need to stop talking about things that, like, not to Ricky Gervais, like, don't get up here and start talking about stuff that's not, I think it just makes the world...
Don't speak out of turn.
I think it just makes the world a messier place.
I agree. I agree with you.
So, but I think he's still very good. I was a huge fan of him in...
I think Ricky Gervais hit the nail on the head.
Right. That it's just like, don't get up here and start, talking about a world that you don't understand.
A part of. Yeah.
You're in your own little world, so don't start talking about,
Yeah, that Ricky Gervais...
Oh, it was amazing.
Was just the best.
Yeah, he should get an award. He's like, that's the last time I'm going to be doing this, so here it is.
It was like the award show ceremony version of, was it in Half Baked?
Oh,
when the guy's quitting his job,
Yeah,
I won't quote it because,
This is a kid's show, folks.
Yeah, well, listen.
Yeah, I know.
Disclaimer. This show is not made for children.
Yes.
However, we try and keep it family friendly. I say that disclaimer so that YouTube doesn't pick this part of the conversation up in their algorithm and flag us for creating content for children.
Exactly.
And not disclosing it properly. Thanks, pedophiles. You made YouTube harder.
Yes.
Jerks.
Congratulations. You won a competition no one was playing. So.
Anyway.
Yeah. Good things. Good things to come. Super excited. Got some cruising episodes coming up.
Yep.
And
we might get to try and go ghost hunting, which I'm excited about that.
Yes.
But only if I get my own proton pack.
Listen, I'll make them out of cardboard. I don't care. I really don't care. But yeah, we've been offered a couple different little fun adventures.
Yeah. So look out for that stuff coming up. And yeah, I think it's time to wrap up.
Yep.
So until next time, he's Tucker.
He's the Beard.
And we are out.